Google not the only big tech name getting hit with antitrust headlines today. The EU reportedly considering a probe of Amazon's e-commerce business and whether the company is prioritizing its own brand products. If found guilty, Amazon could be fined up to 10% of global annual revenue. I don't know where we want to start with this. There's an overarching sort of regulation on big tech. The Google story is very interesting because the stock is definitely reacting. We haven't really seen that.
Shockingly. I mean, we've sat on this desk, I think, for a decade talking about the headwinds of regulatory stuff, and we've just kind of been very dismissive about what it means for the stocks. And I think to the point that Eamon just made is like, yes, here was a proposed remedy, but yet it has to be, you know, I mean, there's a whole host of things that has to happen. The fact that it lost $100 billion plus in market cap is very odd to me. The other thing I'll just say is, so the FTC or the DOJ basically has suits against Apple, Amazon, Meta. I don't know what they have against Microsoft right now, but all those companies actually have beef with each other, and they actually support some of the other cases that are being brought against their competitors. So it's a pretty weird situation. I'll just say this. It's like, these are our national champions. Make no mistake about it. This is the place for innovation. One of the things that I really underestimated over the last couple of years is just how pissed off so much of the tech community, so much of the investor community, so much of Wall Street, you know, has had. Think about Wall Street, okay? These guys who do a lot of M&A, there's been no M&A in the tech space because of the regulatory overhang. So a lot of these folks are really upset about this. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays into 2025. But again, I think some of these opportunities, when you have a stock down 5% off of something, probably good buying opportunities.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, the ask, that's what he pointed out, and even as well, that's the most, well, you can ask for whatever you want to ask for, right? So whether that actually ever comes to, if that, in fact, came to pass, the stock would be, I think, a fair bit lower than here. However, between here and there's a lot to happen, right? We haven't heard Google's response. Also, I think that the landscape is changing anyway in search. I think there was just a little while ago another competitor, you know, who wants to enter into search. I also wonder, so who would you sell Chrome to?
And then that's the sticking point. Nobody can figure out who would be the natural buyer for Chrome.
Who does that then make the target?
Well, I was going to say, then they have two-thirds of search.
Exactly.
So nothing's changed.
That's why I think.
Well, they don't have two-thirds of search.
Well,
I mean, so think about it, because the case here is that Chrome, if you have Chrome and it's already embedded, you're much more likely to search on Google, right? But if, let's say, they sold it to OpenAI, who's working on a browser right now, well, all of a sudden, there's going to be lots of choice where that search goes to. OpenAI right now is a search engine for all intents and purposes. So, I mean, to me, I do think there's not too many buyers of it for regulatory reasons.
Well, I think the buyers are potentially very powerful as well. So
it's also not.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't even think it's where the big grievance is. I mean, the big grievance is really more on the ad tech side, which is another lawsuit that's just been filed. And again, all this is timing to rush stuff through before a new administration comes through. Now, I realize you can make an argument that the filing in 2020 on search is something that you know, has had its hands in maybe the previous administration, certainly in this administration. But we are talking about many years and possibly multiple administrations of DOJ pushing on these companies. So it's not as if suddenly the Trump administration would necessarily be looking to unwind all this, but that's the sense you get by the activity over the last couple of days. You get the sense that there's some rush to actually get stuff in before this next 2.0 Trump possibly dismantles years and years. And again, I would just get back to where are the grievances? They're really more on ad tech, more for marketers, more for advertisers.
Is this a buying opportunity?
I would say so. I think realistically, when you look at what is actually being proposed, they're going to divest Chrome. Theoretically, that's if it actually goes through. This is relatively a small part of their actual business, right? I mean, it's been estimated they'll probably divest this for like $20 billion, and their market cap is like about 100 times that. But I think the bigger issue is the regulatory concerns and just in general that environment. And Tim, you bring up the current administration because everybody's saying, okay, well, if Trump comes in, there's going to be less regulation. But when you look at Amazon, this isn't just a U.S. problem. This is coming from abroad as well. So I think that's the question. Is this a global regulatory phenomenon that's just starting? If so, that could put pressure on these companies. But short term, I think this is probably an overreaction.
I think, though, if you think about what the number would be, 20, 30 billion, it is really important to their search business, right? So I read a stat that if you were going to go from Internet Explorer to Chrome, you're 50% more likely to do a Google search. So you think about where the default is. So if the FTC is basically saying this is non-competitive, right? It's hurting, consumer choice, that sort of thing. It is important then if you think about the dominance that Google has in search, right? And if you cleave that off and you don't have that connectivity to the search process, then it could be a huge hit to Google. But again, to your point, Karen, it's going to be probably at least a year or two away.
Well, it's summer is when the judge decides, and then Google will appeal. That could be tied up for years. So that's, minimum.
And it's a negotiation process.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.